Hi, this is Dave Gleason, head coach of Athletic Revolution in Pembroke, Massachusetts. As promised, today what I would like to speak to you about is our exploration programming. That is our programming for young athletes 10 to 13 years old. Let me start first by saying it's not too dissimilar from our programming for 6 to 9 year olds. They're still discovering exercise. The reason we chose the word exploration is because now not only are they discovering exercise, but they're exploring how their bodies move, what feels right, what doesn't feel right, what is correct, what is incorrect. At this stage in their lives, they're starting to go through some growth spurts, which can cause some movement patterns. That is, the way that they move may be incorrect, which could cause problems immediately or even down the road. So with that, we still use a lot of outcome-based coaching. Outcome-based coaching, as I described in our earlier model for the discovery classes, it can be put this way. If I ask a child to run from cone A to cone B, and they do so, my job as their coach at that point is to congratulate them for a job well done. Not to break them down and tell them that they did it incorrectly or you should have done it this way, without any other instruction or rules to that running from cone A to cone B. That's all the child knew to do, and they completed that task, so they need to be rewarded in a sense for that. We can always go back and layer skills into that, whether it's more of an arm drive or try to run with your head up high, for instance, is a cue that we'll use a lot of times. So that's outcome-based coaching, and we still use that a ton in our exploration classes. One of the differences when we're dealing with 10 to 13 year olds is that we're going to layer in probably up to 25% more actual instruction. We want the kids at this age to learn the hows and the whys behind what they're doing. It's been my experience, certainly with adults, but definitely with children. As soon as you can start to help them understand why they would do something, they're more apt to actually give it their best shot to do it the correct way. So that's a very important aspect of our exploration classes. Will we do more advanced or difficult activities with these kids? Sure, when they're ready for it. Again, going back to our discovery class, if a child's not ready to get to the next level, we don't push them there just because it may say we need to do that on a piece of paper in some training protocol. That is not how we operate here. Once they've mastered a certain skill to our satisfaction, then we can move on to the next skill or layer the skill that they've already learned to make it a little bit more difficult. Always going back and reinforcing what they've already learned through essentially gameplay, or putting them in a sports situation so they're not actively thinking about those movements in terms of their technique, but they're being reinforced or grooved into their kind of motor patterns and the way that their brain and central nervous system responds to activity. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you. You may be aware of, and we've been talking about this a little bit, it's sort of a theme. I haven't mentioned the word sports specific yet, and I won't except for this one time to let you know that this is not a sports specific program. Will performance be enhanced in any sport that your child might be in because of the way we layer skills on top of skills and develop those proper movement patterns and movement efficiency? Absolutely. They will become stronger, faster, more agile, less prone to injury, all those things. But I can't stress enough how important it is that these kids aren't asked or forced to do watered down adult programs, even though they're a bit older. That's not the way that we should approach youth fitness or athletic development, sports performance development, however it's coined. It needs to be done the right way. It needs to be done in a way that is in the best interest for that child, for your child. So that's an overview and a generalization of our exploration classes. Again, that's for young athletes and kids 10 to 13 years old. I'd love to have you come in and view a class, or have your child come in and try a class, free. Just have them come in, try it out, see if they like it. Of course, they can always take advantage of our 2-week free trial, where they get unlimited classes, full membership benefits for 2 weeks, no cost. Because we want to make sure that your child has a good experience, a good base of experience to fall back on, so that they can literally say, yeah, I love this, or it wasn't for me. And then we can make a decision on how we go forward together, okay? So with that, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate your time. This is Dave Gleason, head coach at Athletic Revolution in Pembroke, Massachusetts, and I can't wait to talk to you again. See you soon. Bye.